Done. Thank you. I'm wondering, PS, you haven't come with people from Ratsa because we want them. There's issues of registration of motor vehicles here and all that. I don't know what's the position.
Chair Ratsa is appearing before, I think, the Committee on Transport. They have a presentation to make.
Okay. I don't know now, colleagues. We needed people from Ratsa. Anyway.
If they will manage to answer, they will answer. If they have an idea of what is going on at Ratsa or what went on. So
I don't know.
ask them.
Okay. Let's proceed. Let me take this opportunity to confer EPS with immunity in accordance with Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia. But as you make presentation, you are protected. But however, if you intend to willingly mislead this committee, the same law can work against you. So with that said, PS, I'll ask you to proceed and make your submission. Budaka at the point of order.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. The Ministry of Transport and Logistics in the last audit that was undertaken for the year ending 2022 did form a paragraph, and we also formed another paragraph relating to the management of the government fleet. So we are here, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members, to present our responses to those two paragraphs. I'll start with paragraph 22 on the Ministry of Transport and Logistics. The mandate of the ministry is to formulate and implement government policy as well as regulate the transport and logistics sector to enhance the sector's contribution to sustained socio-economic growth and development for the people of Zambia. Audit findings: an examination of accounting and other relevant records maintained at the ministry headquarters for the financial year ended 31st December 2022 revealed the following. A. Budget, funding and expenditure. In the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the financial year ended 31st December 2022, a provision of 529,474,864 was made to cater for operations of the ministry, against which amounts totaling 525,985,713 were released, resulting in an underfunding of 3,489,151. As at 31st December 2022, amounts totaling 525,784,965 had been spent. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observation. Excuse me. Your committee may wish to note that the amounts cited as underfunding relate to supplementary budget provision number 1 of 2022, which was approved by Parliament in July 2022. This was meant to facilitate the construction of a false roof at the ministry's headquarters. However, the funds were not released for the implementation of the false roof. The Treasury has made the funds available in the 2023 budget, and the project is almost complete. We have submitted supporting documentation under Appendix 1, Chair. B, accounting irregularities, unaccounted for stores. Regulation 16 of the finance, that's control and management, public stores regulation, requires that every stores officer or any other officer having in his charge any public stores or other articles of public property must keep and maintain a record of the receipt and issue of such public stores. Contrary to the regulation, various stores items costing 54,922 kwacha procured during the period under review were not accounted for, in that there were no receipts and disposal details. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observation. The committee may wish to note that the failure to provide the receipts and disposal detail was due to coordination between the main stores office and the satellite stores within the ministry. In this regard, the responsible officer has been charged. Further, your committee may wish to note that the receipt and disposal details for the cited items amounting to 54,922 kwacha are available for audit verification, and we have submitted supporting documentation under Appendix 2. Unsupported payments. Regulation 72, sub 1 of the Public Finance Management General Regulation of 2020 states that a payment voucher with supporting documents and any other form which support a charge entered in the accounts shall be filed, secured against loss, and be readily available for audit. Contrary to the regulation, various payments in amounts totaling 138,743 kwacha made during the period under review were not supported with relevant documentation. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observation. The responsible officer has been charged, and
recording in progress.
And we have submitted supporting documentation under Appendix 3. I move on to item number C, which is lack of title deeds for properties. Section 4, Section 41, subsection 4 of the Public Finance Management Act, number 1 of 2018, requires that controlling officers ensure that all public properties under their charge are secured with title deeds. Contrary to the Act, the Ministry did not secure title deeds for parcels of land on which 3 buildings were located. There is a table that is given there, and the name of the buildings is the Government Printing Departments in Lusaka, the Office and Equipment Maintenance Department in Lusaka, and also the Office and Equipment Maintenance Department in Chipata. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observations. However, the committee may wish to note that the cited buildings house departments that were recently aligned to the ministry. In this regard, following the realignment, the process of transfer of assets was based on the report of the Special Committee of Survey. This notwithstanding, following the audit observation, the ministry commenced the process of acquiring title deeds for the 3 buildings with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and we have included supporting documentation as Appendix 4. D, staff-related matters. 1, failure to avail other personnel emoluments expenditure records. The ministry was allocated and funded amounts totaling 5,310,213 kwacha towards the payment of outstanding other personnel emoluments. It was, however, noted that the ministry did not have expenditure records to support the payments in amounts totaling 875,350 kwacha made between November and December 2022, thereby making it difficult to ascertain the validity of the payments. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observations. The committee may wish to note that the expenditure records were availed to the auditors. However, the records were not supported with the relevant documentation. This was due to failure by the responsible officer to have the documents photocopied and attached to the payments. In this regard, following a disciplinary process, the responsible officer has been charged for not attaching supporting documents. Your committee may further wish to note that the said documents in amounts totaling 875,350 kwacha have since been traced and are available for the audit verification. We have attached supporting documentation under Appendix 5. 2. Irregular payments of salary to an officer on unpaid leave. A review of accounting and other documents availed for audit revealed that one officer went on unpaid leave, which commenced on 3rd August 2022. However, it was observed that despite the officer being on unpaid leave, she was paid salaries in amounts totaling 28,254 kwacha for a period of 5 months. As at 31st July 2023, the amounts had not been recovered. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observations. The committee may wish to note that the payment of salary to an officer who proceeded on leave was due to delay in blocking the salary for the officer. In this regard, the responsible officer has been charged. Further, management has engaged the officer who received the salary while on leave to refund the amount, and she has since committed to a settlement plan of over a period of 12 months. In this regard, an amount of 900 kwacha has since been paid, and the supporting documentation in Appendix 6. Irregular payment of salaries to officers who resigned. A review of accounting and other documents availed for audit revealed that 2 officers who resigned from civil service between the 1st of January 2022 and the 5th of July 2022 continued getting salaries in amounts totaling 34,874 kwacha for a period of 3 months. And as at 31st July 2023, the amounts had not been recovered. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observations. The committee may wish to note that the payment of salaries to the 2 officers who resigned was due to delay in terminating the officers from the payroll. In this regard, the responsible officer has been charged. Further, management has engaged the officers who received the salaries after resigning to refund the amounts, and the officers have committed to paying back in periods of 3 and 6 months. The officers have so far paid 3,500 kwacha, leaving a balance of 31,374 kwacha, and supporting documentation is attached. Chair, with your permission, I'll proceed to paragraph 23.
can proceed.
Thank you. Paragraph 23 is on the Ministry of Transport and Logistics, specifically on government fleet management. Motor vehicle management. The ministry is mandated to control government transport through the Government Transport Control Unit, who, among other things, is responsible for the following. 1. Coordinating the management of government vehicles, plant, and equipment. 2. Coordinating the acquisition, disposal, inspection, and maintenance of vehicle, plant, and equipment. 3. Management of the national pool of vehicles, plant, and equipment. 4. Overseeing and tracking procurement of vehicles in MPAs to ensure value for money and fit for purpose, as well as taking advantage of economies of scale through bulk buying. 5. Developing and managing the national electronic database for vehicles, plant, and equipment. 6. Ensuring that accidents to government fleet are recorded and reported to relevant authorities and the Standing Accident Board, and serving as secretariat to the Plant, Vehicle, and Equipment Committee. Audit findings. The office conducted an audit on motor vehicle fleet management between October 2021 to August 2022. The audit covered the period from 1st January 2016 to 31st December 2021. In this regard, a review of fleet management control systems maintained by the Government Transport Control Unit, government fleet management policy, various circulars and measures issued by the Secretary to Cabinet, ZRA and RATSA databases, and other documentation maintained at various ministries, provinces, and spending agencies, and oral interviews conducted, revealed the following. A. Failure to record motor vehicle details and update fleet management registers. Government motor vehicles are serially numbered with alphanumeric numbers starting with the letter or letters GRZ as shown in the table below. We have a table there that gives the formatting of how government vehicles are registered. Chair, I'll skip it. The total number of motor vehicles recorded in the register as of 31st December 2021 was 4,126. An analysis of the government fleet management register revealed that a total of 753 series of GRZ number plates were missing from the government fleet management register. Further, MPAs submitted fleet management registers that were not updated, in that some motor vehicles were not recorded. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observation with regret. The committee may wish to note that the registration of government motor vehicles by the Controller of Government Transport was being done manually, and as such it was prone to errors such as the one cited by the Auditor General. This explains why the ministry saw it fit to commission this specific audit so as to have a full understanding of the shortcomings in the management of government transport and undertake measures to address them. With regard the registration of motor vehicles, the ministry has since realigned the registration of all government vehicles to the Road Transport and Safety Agency to automate the registration process. This measure will ensure that going forward, no number series will be skipped, and we have attached documentation under Appendix 1 of Paragraph 2. Unaccounted for motor vehicles bought using MPSA's TPINs An analysis of the Zambia Revenue Authority database revealed that a total of 1,002 motor vehicles whose value for duty purposes was 464,930,734 kwacha were procured by various ministries using their tippings during the period under review, were not accounted for in that the motor vehicles were not recorded in the various MPA's fleet management registers and could not be traced to the Road Transport and Safety Agency database, and their physical whereabouts were not known as of 31st July 2023. There was a risk that private individuals were using ministry tippings to acquire private motor vehicles and thereby evading tax. There is a table that is given Chair, which gives the details. I'll skip it. Management response. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observation. The committee may wish to note that the tax identification numbers for ministries are used by all institutions under a particular ministry to apply for a tax exemption certificate. This observation, Chairperson, has highlighted the failure by MPSs to keep records of institutions authorized to use the tax identification number for their procurement. In this regard, the ministry engaged the Road Transport and Safety Agency to track the cited motor vehicles with a view of establishing the absolute owners of the vehicles. The ongoing search has established that the vehicles are owned by the government through its various institutions. The information obtained from the Road Transport and Safety Agency will be used for physical verification of the motor vehicles by the Auditor General. And we have documents attached under Appendix 2. C. Motor vehicles on RATSA database but not recorded on the MPA's fleet registers. A comparison of data extracted from the Zambia Revenue Authority database and the RATSA database for GRZ motor vehicles procured by various MPSAs using tippings with data extracted from CGTU GRZ Fleet Management Register revealed that 290 motor vehicles, although registered with the CGTU and RATSA, were not accounted for in that they were not recorded in the respective MPA's fleet management registers, and their physical whereabouts were not known as of 31st July 2023. There is a table that is given, and it gives the details to the ministries and the number of vehicles that were unaccounted for at the time of the audit. Management response. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observation. The committee may wish to note that after several efforts to have MPSAs account for the cited vehicles, only 15 vehicles have been accounted for. These include 7 from the Ministry of Transport and Logistics and 8 from the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry. Due to the prolonged failure by the MPSAs to account for the motor vehicles and the potential loss to the government, management has engaged the Zambia Police to institute investigations on the whereabouts of the 274 unaccounted for motor vehicles, and we have submitted documentation under Appendix 3. D. Government motor vehicles registered in private individual names under the Ministry of Education. A total of 8 motor vehicles costing 1,838,492 kwacha were procured by the Ministry of General Education as per the ZRA database during the period from 2016 to 2021. However, an analysis of the RATSA database revealed that the 8 motor vehicles were registered in private number plates and were owned by private individuals. As at 31st July 2023, the ministry had not explained the circumstances in which the ownership of the vehicles had changed from government to private hands. Management comment. Chairperson, the audit observation has been noted by management. The committee may wish to note that the Ministry of Education did not give a response on this audit observation. As such, due to the potential loss to government, management has engaged the Zambia Police to institute investigation on how the vehicles procured by the Ministry of General Education were registered in private number plates and were owned by private individuals. We have documents submitted under Appendix 4. However, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members, I wish to report that we have since received documentation from the Ministry of Education, and as we engage with the committee, and if you allow, I'll ask at some point to ask that this matter be clarified. Thank you. E, unaccounted for project vehicles that were handed over to Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation. 5 motor vehicles procured for the rehabilitation and improvement of water supply systems project in Mpika, Kasama and Mbala were unaccounted for despite being handed over to the ministry on 11th March 2019 by UNIK Construction Engineering Limited, and the table of the vehicles is given. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit committee. The committee may wish to note that the Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation donated the 5 vehicles to various water companies under the ministry in line with the projects they were initially bought for. The vehicles were distributed and can be physically verified at the respective stations as follows. So we have a table there which is indicating where these vehicles are, and we have documentation submitted under Appendix 5. Missing GRZ motor vehicles collected by CGT from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. 2 motor vehicles collected by the CGTU in April 2020 from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development for the purpose of COVID-19 pandemic activities and state functions during the period under review, whereas at 31st July 2023 not accounted for, in that the vehicles were not retained to the ministry and CGTU could not account for the same vehicles. There is a table that has been given which gives the details of the vehicles that were collected by the CGT. Management comment. Chairperson, the audit observations has been noted by management. The committee may wish to note that the government currently does not hold a pool of vehicles that stands ready to beef up any activity that has transport needs. Hence, the CGTU collects available vehicles from MPSAs for emergencies such as COVID-19 pandemic. Further, the 2 motor vehicles cited by the auditors have been traced and handed back to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and can physically be verified by the Auditor General. We have Appendix 6 with supporting documentation. Unaccounted for old motor vehicles. 18 old motor vehicles owned by different ministries were unaccounted for in that their physical location could not be ascertained as at this, 31st July 2023. Okay, sorry. So there is a table that is given, table 6, showing the unaccounted for motor vehicles. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observation. The committee may wish to note that the said motor vehicles are 14 under the Ministry of Transport and Logistics and 4 under the Ministry of Education. Chairperson, the old vehicles are available at the government stores yard. This notwithstanding, the ministry has since instituted disciplinary action against the officer for failing to account for the motor vehicles, and the process is ongoing. As regards the vehicles under the Ministry of Education, no response has been received, and as such, management will continue to engage the ministry to account for the vehicles or institute disciplinary action against the responsible officers. Unaccounted for GRZ motor vehicles at 6 provincial administrations, an examination of fleet management registers and physical inspections of motor vehicles carried out at the provincial administrations revealed that 67 motor vehicles in 6 provinces could not be accounted for, in that they were not availed for verification and their whereabouts was not known as at 31st July 2023. There is a table that gives the provincial administrations, and these namely are Central, Muchinga, Western, Northern, Northwestern, and Copper Belt. Management comment. Chairperson, management has noted the audit observation. The committee may wish to note that the ministry wrote to all the respective provincial administrations affected, but no response has been received to date. In this regard, management will seek the intervention of the Secretary to Cabinet as head of the civil service to have the 6 cited provinces to account for the vehicles or take disciplinary action against the responsible officers. We have attached supporting documentation as Appendix 8. Cannibalized government motor vehicles.
PS, your appendices, we are struggling to find them. They are confusing because if you just go back even to let's start from 4 before you proceed. 4 maybe can guide us, because when I go to 4, it's just giving me something else. Yeah, so they are all not okay. Let's go to 3, maybe can guide us. Honorable colleagues, check for 3. 3 is looking at motor vehicles on RATSA database but not recorded on MPS fleet. So,
with your permission, Chair,
yes,
the clarification is that the appendices are also in 2 sets. We have 2 paragraphs. So if you take note, the very first appendix is 1, which runs up to appendix 7. Then it starts again, 1 going downwards. So I think maybe that's where the confusion is.
so paragraph, the one you are reading, it's this one.
No, that's
It's 5. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it starts from there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, PS, you can proceed.
Thank you so much, Chair. Cannibalized government motor vehicles. A physical inspection conducted at various garages and government premises where some identified government vehicles were parked revealed that 54 motor vehicles were cannibalized and stripped of spares such as engines, gearboxes, and various other body parts. There is a table that gives the details of the cannibalized vehicles and the ministries responsible. Honorable Chair, management comment. Chairperson, the audit observations has been noted by management. The committee may wish to note that the state of 8 vehicles out of the cited 54 vehicles has been explained and verified by the Auditor General. These include 7 Higa buses or Higa buses from the Ministry of Youth and Sport and 1 motor vehicle from the Ministry of Health. As regards the balance of 46 motor vehicles under the Ministry of Transport and Logistics, disciplinary action has been instituted against the responsible officer who received the vehicles from State House. However, to collaborate the state in which the vehicles were received, the Ministry has written to State House requesting for a report on the state of the vehicles at the time of the handover. And we have documents attached in the very last appendix, which is Appendix 9. Chairperson, management remains resolved to expedite actions on audit observations where third-party assistance has been requested to ensure logical conclusion of the cited issues. This is our submission, Honorable Chairperson, and I thank you.
Thank you, PS, for your submission. Honorable colleagues, that's a submission from PS Transport and Logistics. We can start with paragraph 22, then proceed as it were to paragraph 23 in that order. Honorable Muila can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. So PS on budget funding and expenditure, I just need a clarification with regard to the unspent funds, because when I put the figures together, I'm finding some inconsistencies in the amounts. So the explanation we are giving is that the funds that remained unspent came from the supplementary budget. Now, when I looked at your Appendix 1, the supplementary budget under the Ministry of Transport and Logistics, the supplementary budget was 69 million. And then the underfunding that you are attributing to the supplementary budget is 3.4. Again, you have attached the contract with Zambia National Service, who should have done this this force roof. And the BOQ is 1.8. So there are 3 different figures that I need to understand how they relate with each other. Total budget 69 million supplementary, the underfunding is 3.4, the contract with National Service is 1.8. So how do these 3 figures relate? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Any other question? PS, you can proceed and answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson, and thank you, Honorable Muila, for that question as well. As indicated by the Auditor General, our provision for the year 2022 was 529,474,864, and this is as a result. So in this provision amount, Treasury released 525, 985, 713, against which the ministry managed to spend 525, 784, 965. So from the two figures, the released amount and the spent amount, you actually notice that the ministry spent almost 100% of the release. Now, the observation of the Auditor General is to the extent that the underfunding, the 3.5 million which we are talking about, when it was supplemented, it actually became part of the ministry budget. And therefore, it should have been released in the year 2022. And unfortunately, the Treasury did not release that amount. So in terms of the total, what became the total budget for the ministry, together with the supplementary, is the 529 that we have, as cited by the auditors. And therefore, because we had 529 and they only released 525, we have that balance which is showing as an underfunding. It's actually not unspent funds because they did not release it. In the 69 that is given there, it's comprised of different lines. But the line which is meant for the rehabilitation of the the installation of the force roof is actually the same amount that we are talking about there. Now, that at the time was the estimated amount, but when the releases was done in 2023 and we entered into a contract with the Zambia National Service, Zambia National Service then put in the actual based on the bills of quantities and used their rates, and hence the 1.8 million contract which Honorable Chairperson you are talking about. So we are coming from the unestimated to the actual value. And in terms of the documentation that we have attached there, for ZNS, we are simply trying to demonstrate to the committee that though the works were not done in 2022, these works have actually been done in 2023, and ZNS is just doing final touches in terms of installation of the force roof. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Mula, follow-up question. Honorable Mukumbi, is that an indication? Okay. Okay, Honorable Mula can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. So just to clear my understanding, according to your estimation, you estimated that this roof would be done at 3.4 million, and then the BOQ came later on at 1.8. Is that my understanding? Is that correct? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. PS, you can proceed.
Yes, Chair, that is the correct position.
Okay, Honorable Mukumbi.
Progress, Chair. And account rosters. Great. The controlling officer, you have cited lack of coordination between the main stores and the satellite stores within the ministry as a cause for unaccounted for stores during audit. What measures have you put in place to ensure that coordination is enhanced between the main stores and the satellite stores? Chair, submit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson.
Just hold on, PS. I'll indicate maybe other honorable members want to speak, so you have to wait for me. Any other question on the same? Honorable Ulma, you can proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairperson. It would have been better for the controlling officer to tell this committee, as Honorable Mukumbi has put it, stores office and satellite stores within the ministry. And the chair, looking at the number of days when the DAP report is released and when they are supposed to respond, it's quite good number of days. Now, within the ministry, Chair, from one office to another office becomes a challenge to produce documentation, disposal details. So I thought that maybe the PS, in responding to Honorable Mukumbi, he needs to go deeper to tell this committee what was the main challenge, because this is within the same building.
Thank you, Honorable Lomai. Any other question? If not, PS, we can proceed and answer those questions.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson, and thank you for those two questions from the Honorable members, Honorable Mukumbi and Honorable Lomai. Now, maybe just to indicate that as a ministry, the building that we are occupying is not sufficient to house all the departments within the same building. It's the ministry headquarters, but sometimes we refer to it as the former Canadian embassy. Now, you note that when there was a realignment of the ministries, we had a number of departments that also were pushed to the Ministry of Transport and Logistics. We have the government printing department, for example, whose offices are near the levee park. We also have pontoons, who have satellite offices, and other department like the office equipment. And so in terms of coordinating between these these different departments that are outside, that's where the challenges are coming. But I'll bring in the Director of Finance to help me in responding to the question, because stores management is actually a function that sits under Finance Director.
Thank you. Before the Director comes in, you can switch off the mic, PS. I don't know. I'm trying to understand, PS. Are you submitting that is your reason or your answer to say you've got challenges? Coordination, you're within Lusaka, mind you. And if you're having challenges within Lusaka, I think for me that's a worry. Honorable colleagues, if you have challenges between where you are, government printers, which is at Levy More, if you are having challenges within Lusaka, then it's a source of worry for us in terms of coordination. You are within Lusaka. What about districts? If you're having that challenge, for me, I think that's not a good answer, which you are giving before this honorable committee. It's actually, for me, it's an excuse. So we hear from Director of Finance. We can proceed. We hear from you.
Thank you so much, Chair. Through my PS, the delay indeed was because of the same factors that the PS has indicated. And at the same period, Chair, when the auditors were on the ground, we had one officer from stores who was transferred to PSMD. However, they've given us a replacement, and we don't expect this to happen again. Thank you, Chair.
Your submission in Director of Finance is not admissible together with your PS. Your submission, you can switch off the mic, your submission is not admissible. I mean, you had, like Honorable Olumai said, you had Auditor General at your premises. Even these charge letters you are rushing to give to people. What mitigation measures apart from charging people have you done? Because at this time, auditors were on ground. By the time they finish their work, corrective measures, these are administrative PS. We shouldn't be talking about unaccounted for store 54,000 kwacha. This is administrative, which you can quickly amend. It doesn't even need to be escalated to a query in the Auditor General's report. This is not issues we should be discussing here. In my own belief, these are things which you should enhance as PS controls. You are within Lusaka, Director Finance and all that, than coming here, attaching letters, telling us we've charged this person, we've charged administrative issues. You are messing up their files as civil servants to put all those charge letters on their file, while mitigation measures can be done through you as controlling officer. Honorable colleagues, that's the answer from the PS. We can have position and proceed to the next item. Don't think nothing much will change there. Unsupported payment, can proceed. Honorable Umai, you can proceed.
Maybe further, Mr. Chairman, to the earlier question, we are on the unsupported payments. I just want to find out from Director Finance, now that failure to produce disposal details, an officer has been charged due to failure to follow unlawful instructions. And the Director Finance, you know that you have got files where you keep these disposal details. And the Chair, because these documents were not found, one of the officers in the chain of procurement has been charged with failure to follow lawful instructions. So all I want to understand, from which department is this officer? Because we have been told one has been transferred to PSMD, and now we have a new officer, and the lawful instructions, because they were not followed, one was charged. And this involves 138,743. So that in future PS, we don't have to charge officers for failure to follow lawful instructions. Chairperson, I submit.
Thank you. My question, PS, is with this your management comment, the supporting documents, are they there now, Director Finance? Because you are trying to attach your charge letters. Have you found the supporting documents for 138,000 kwacha 743? Through a PS, you can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Through my PS, the 138,743 is coming from 9 items on the schedule. And Chair, I'm glad to report that all the supporting documents have been found and they're available for verification.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Honorable Mwila. Then Honorable Lungu.
Thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, as you already put it, this is yet another incident that is exposing the weakness in the internal controls in the ministry. My question on this point is, one, where was the internal audit when these payments were being made without having full support documentation? Where was the internal audit which should have done its work at the time that the payments were going through the process? And then second, now that the documents are available, why were they not made available at the time that the audit was being carried out? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Lungu, can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is similar to what Honorable Miller said. I just wanted to find out that how often are these officers checked to make sure that these erroneous activities, they don't escalate. Because if there's a supervisor who normally checks on these people, I don't think these things will continue happening. And a committee would want to know that going forward, what further punishment are you going to give these people? Because if you just charge them with not giving them big punishment, these things will continue happening and government will keep on losing revenue in this manner. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. PS, you can proceed and answer those questions.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. We do have the head for internal audit with us. I will ask him to answer the question on what happens within the ministry in terms of audits supporting these payments. And also the question on how often these officers are checked. Like I did indicate, stores falls under the finance department, and the daily supervision is actually provided for by the director and his subordinates to these officers. So I'll ask again that the Director of Finance responds to that question.
Thank you. Internal audit, we can proceed and answer that question from Honorable Mwila, and then Director of Finance, you take the one from Honorable Lung. We can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to address the issue from the internal audit point of view. Chair, you realize that the control environment was created by internal audit. Why do I say so? Because if you look at the process of procuring items, what happens is this, that government has put measures that before a payment is done, the supplier, the vendor is supposed to supply, is supposed to deliver actually items. And from the internal audit point of view, we conduct what we call pre-audit. So when this payment came through to internal audit, yes, there was compliance, because why do I say so? The delivery note was attached to the procured items, and that was compliant. And when that was done, my office did the pre-audit and cleared that item. If you look at the query as it has been arisen, you realize that there's a mention of record of receipt and disposal. So the payment goes, it is cleared, PS clears it, and the vendor is paid. So it was from the store's point of view, where this person now is supposed to, the store's officer is supposed now to prepare the disposal as
we are on unsupported payment. Principal auditor. We are on unsupported payment, not on the stores. Stores we moved. Okay. PS, you can switch off your mic a bit. PS, you have an intervention?
Yes, Chair. Maybe just to help head procurement. Head audit, sorry. The point that should be emphasized in terms of the internal controls is that no payment is actually authorized in the ministry unless all the documentation have been supported. So at the time of authorizing the payment, all the documentation is there. And the head internal audit and his staff, they have what I call a blank check from my office, because we have sat and we have an understanding if there's anything wrong with the payment that is being processed and they pick it out, they are free to actually stop that payment and come to my office and highlight to say that this is wrong. So from that perspective, in terms of the control process for effecting payments, that is actually their Chair. And I think the Auditor General's office can verify that all the way up to the payment instructions letter, there are stamps coming from the internal audit.
Thank you, PS. Honorable, has your question, Honorable, will have been addressed?
Chair,
yes, you can proceed then, Honorable Mukumbi.
Chair, my question is arising from what the audit report is saying, that various payments in amounts totaling 138,743 made during the period under review were not supported with relevant documentation. This is what the audit report is saying. And in the comment, management is saying the payments amounting to 138 have been supported with necessary documentation. That's a submission we are seeing now, that these documents subsequent to the audit are now available. So my question is, contrary to what the PS is saying, that all the documentation was there, the audit finding is saying something different. So is the PS then telling us that the auditors missed this documentation at the time of the audit? That's why my question was, where was internal audit when these payments were going through without the relevant documentation? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Nkumbi.
Thank you, Chair. Just out of interest, the controlling officer is saying, see appendix Roman numeral 3. Just gone through the appendices there, and the Auditor General is saying they did not provide relevant documentation during that, and later on they did. Now, if you look at the one labeled 4, Femia General Dealers. Is it Femia General Dealers? I think this was just an afterthought after the audit itself has been done, and someone, I believe, Chair, just went to fish out some invoices somewhere. Controlling officer, and maybe through you to the people in audit, is this an acceptable invoice going by ZRA standards? Where sure this company, we don't know whether it's in Zambia or it's in South Africa, no VAT number or no tipping number, no contact details, and this was accepted by a government institution as a legal invoice? Or is it that someone just went into Katondo and picked one just to clear a query? Chair, I submit.
Thank you. PS, you can proceed with those two questions which have been asked by the honorable members.
Appendix 3.
Then I don't know, Director of Finance, you didn't answer a question from Honorable Lungu. Maybe you can address that, then PS, you come in with the two questions. Honorable Nkumbi, can switch off the mic? Director of Finance, you can proceed.
Thank you so much, Chair. I think the question was on how often is the officer checked, the one who raises who attaches the documents to the payment vouchers. Chair, you may be aware that Ministry of Transport and Logistics is just located in the offices are not adequate, but we have one office which accommodates about 4 accountants, including the secretary to my office. And what we've done is that every day before we knock off, the ones that are preparing the payment vouchers, for those payments that are ready, they are audited and the open items have been taken for payment at Ministry of Finance, we ensure that there are photocopies of the supporting documents which are attached to the payment vouchers. And then these payment vouchers are kept in another office, which is also small, but it's accommodating the cashier's office, which is in most cases locked. So it's on a daily basis as payments are ready when they are being paid. And we actually do a monthly pre-audit of ourselves to just ensure that all the supporting documents are attached to the payment vouchers. And just to mention that some time back we used to have an officer from registry who would help us attach the supporting documents to the payments. Now what we noticed is that I think she would not understand the nature of the payment, and that she wouldn't know which ones or the authorities to attach. So we are now using our own accountants to attach those documents to the payment vouchers. I think that was on how often and what are we doing on the issue of maintaining.
PS, you can proceed with the other two questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chair. With regard to the control and the clarity being sought by the committee, Chair, I wish to highlight that there are two processes that we are looking at. Initially, there is what happens when a unit or a department expresses the desire to obtain goods or services. So you start running with that process up to the time that you obtain the goods and you effect payment. Now, once you have obtained, so that's process number one, the procurement process. Then once you have procured and the goods have been delivered, then there is the process of ensuring that you account for those goods that you have received. So what the internal audit or head audit is referring to is the procurement process in terms of controls that we have established within the ministry.
Yes, we understand the procurement process. What we want is the answer to the question. I think even your colleagues who come before this honorable committee, we understand the process. What we want is what transpired. Why did these payments go through, minus internal audit highlighting to say this PS cannot go through like you said, the controls we put in place, because there is no supporting documentation, because there is this. I think that's what we are talking about. So the processes, I think we are very much aware.
Chair, with your permission.
Just a minute. Honorable Mpara, you wanted to?
Yes, Chair. I think the question is straightforward, controlling officer. Why did the payment go through unsupported? You raise the first step. We all know these steps. An invoice, or you ask your suppliers to provide quotations, and thereafter, I think you start the process. Now, why we are asking is, how did these payments, whether it's the other way you are saying the supplier supplies first, that's when you, or it's the where you are making an inquiry on your own, it's the same. Where were the support documents to support the payment voucher? And that's what we are looking for, to say where were all these documents? And we are surprised to look at some of these invoices, whether it's a receipt, whether this is an invoice or a receipt. A receipt that does not seem to meet any standards at all. It has no telephone number, as my brother has said, the honorable there. No signatures. And even the one who received it, the name was given already, and he didn't even sign for it. These are suspicious transactions. That's what we are talking about here. We can't accept an invoice or a receipt which looks very suspicious. Chair, this is what we are looking for. We are looking for support documents. It's very simple. We are not looking for many explanations. We are only looking for where were the support documents. Period. And who paid? Who authorized the payment? Further, Chair, are these people living in, or PS, are you operating from a construction site? Based on your response on one, where you are saying the construction, the first roof, you are actually, it's ongoing. So are they operating from a construction site?
Thank you, Honorable Daka.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, maybe out of interest because of the receipt. Where is Mr. Kenneth Mpenda? The one who received the one who acknowledged. Where is Mr. Mpenda?
Okay, so PS will tell us. PS, those are 3 questions. You can proceed and answer them.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. I think what the point I was trying to bring across is the fact that the office of the controlling officer, in a way, operates on the basis of trust that is created from the lower structures. So if documentation comes on my table with a stamp from the audit, the internal audit, that they've actually pre-audited the particular transaction, I get comfortable or comforted that they have done their job in terms of due diligence, and therefore I can go ahead and effect payment. And that's the process that I follow. So in terms of the receipt that is attached there and the formatting, I'll ask that the head internal audit gives clarity on that.
Who is procurement? Is procurement here? Why? PS, how do you come without procurement? They are the originators. They are the ones who send requests for quotations. They look at those, compile them. Then from there they send them to finance. If funds are available, first I think there's also approval from you before the circle comes like that. Then they can start the processes, and now the issues of payment if the deliveries have been done. But if we don't have procurement, we'll jump the gun to go to because there's also questionable is it quotations or whatever the invoices, honorable members or receipts are asking. I think that is emanating from procurement. I don't know, there's no procurement person with you?
No, Chair. I think because of the way the queries are structured, we focused more on the stores, which is a function under finance, and also the internal audit, because they do the pre-auditing of these transactions.
No, PS, I don't think before Auditor General comes in, your force roof, your accounts, your contracts, everything is procurement based. Auditor General.
Thank you so much. I think the question, I just want to find out, internal audit, did you audit these receipts? I do not see any sign that these receipts were actually audited. You can even look at the other one, I think this one from Civil Service Travel Office. If you look at this particular one, it doesn't indicate who received, there's no date, there's no nothing. So did you audit this? Because normally when you audit, there will be a sign that you actually looked at it.
Thank you, AG. I think PSU needed procurement to come and explain some of these issues. Yes, Honorable.
Maybe they can call the procurement officer as we break for, if you could allow for tea. In the 10 minutes, maybe the procurement would be here.
PS, I think one of the officers can call the person in charge of procurement. We'll break for tea. Then we'll resume our sittings. Although maybe, is the tea ready? Okay, we can break for tea. Thank you so much. PS, let me lift the immunity conferred before you and your team, that you are free to join us for tea. And also check if your RATSA people are done, they can come through, because I know they need to come and answer some of those issues. Thank you so much.
Parliament TV, bringing Parliament closer to you.
My name is Elvis Chishalankandu, Member of Parliament for Kaputa Constituency. I'm a family man with four children. I have a wife who is a teacher, and I'm 51 now. So the way I'm looking is not the way you may see me, because sometimes you may look youthful, but you are not. So 51 is not a joke. So I was schooled in Kaputa, Kasongwe Primary to be specific, then went to Kamba Secondary Technical School, where I did my secondary education. From there, I just did business management and marketing. So with an advanced diploma. My constituency is a very huge one, especially that, first I want to say that this is a constituency that the Vice President came from, and he was there for 2 terms. So I think one or two members of parliament had followed, then me. So this is a very huge assignment that I've found myself in, because you are aware that she did a lot of things. So now people are able to compare what she did and what we are doing. So indeed we need to work extra hard. But by and large I would say that it's a very large constituency. Rural constituencies, normally they are very large. Looking at 17 wards, and it's about 180 kilometers from where we border Chienge and Chimbamilongo on the other side. So it's, as I said, it's very large constituency. But we do manage. You can't get from one end to the other in 1 day or 2 days. It takes me 10 days to finish that constituency. If I want to finish it, 10 days, sometimes 14 days. Because in 10 days, you need to make sure that at least you cover so many wards in a few days. Yeah, but I think we are managing. The developmental agenda for that constituency, especially for me, and I think I was voted in because of that, what I'm about to say. One, my people there have never seen a paved road, which we call a tarmac road. It's a paved road. They have never seen it. And where you can see it is about 150 kilometers just to find a paved road. Being a rural constituency, definitely we have impassable roads that we do have. But I think it's something that we are now addressing. One important issue that we are addressing is buying the earth-moving equipment, which we have bought. So some of the roads that are in Kaputa constituency will be done by ourselves. The only road that will be looking for government support is the main one, which comes from Ncherenge, passes through Kaputa, and go to Nsama district. Now, this is not the only district that have never seen a paved road. Even Chienge constituency or Chienge district and Nsama on the right side, they have never also seen a tarmac road. So I think these 3 constituencies or districts, I think we have a lot to do to make sure that our people really see development. Because for them, what they may view as development is to put a road there. For them, that is a priority. Obviously, there are also other issues like building schools. We are doing that. We are also building clinics or health centers. Our focus has been also to put up the skills training institution there, because we don't have. So we are exporting a lot of our children to either Luapula and Luapula province, which is Mansa, and Kasama, which is in the northern province. So we want to see a situation where we have our own skills training center in the district or in the constituency. Apart from that, we're also looking at sports facilities. We have a lot of talent in those constituencies like mine, but I think what they are lacking are facilities. So we are also looking at how best we can try to put up even a small multi-sports facility in the constituency, so that a lot of our young people will be able to use that facility and be able to be identified as potential footballers, potential athletes. So I think those are some of the issues that we are looking at. Most importantly, we do not have a hospital that we can call a hospital. Yes, there's a hospital there, but I think it could be level 1, and we have a lot of people now in Kaputa district. So we need a very big hospital so that we lessen on referring our patients to Kasama, which is about 400 kilometers. On the other side, the other hospital, which is near to us, is about 150 kilometers. So we do have a lot of challenges in terms of patients. When they are referred, sometimes they die along the way. So I think that is also a very big challenge. Yeah, there are also other important issues that we may look at, but I think Rome was not built in a day. There are these issues of roads, issues of infrastructure development. I think for us, these are some of the important issues that we need to work on. In fact, some of them even before rain season, especially the roads, before the rain season, we should make sure that we do these roads. And looking forward now to government to ensuring that we are given a paved road, which will really assist us in terms of getting the raw materials, because we also have gotten into farming. And I think we have a lot of rice there. There is Kaputa rice, which we need also to explore. We have also groundnuts, maize now is being also, we have fish because of Lake Mweru and Tipa. So there's a lot that we have in our district, but because of the roads that are impassable, it is very difficult for people to trade. So those are some of the issues that we need to look at. The word of hope. Obviously, we were voted on the ticket of change, first and foremost, and we're going to do just that. The hope that I've continued giving the people of Kaputa is that they voted the right people, starting with the president himself, the vice president who is also heading from that same area. We have now a member of parliament who is also a minister. So we should not have a reason at the end of the day not to develop that particular area, especially that we have the vice president who comes from there. I'm coming from there. The president has been there also and promised people that they will have some changes when we run. These are some of the promises that we are trying to fulfill. So let them just continue having that trust in us, and I believe that by 2026 they will have a lot of changes in Kaputa. And if we are given another mandate, definitely Kaputa will never be the same. A lot of things will change. That's what we are looking for. So them also, I should also plead to them to make sure that we work together, because all these developmental projects that we are about to undertake, and some of them we've already started undertaking them, we can't do them ourselves as member of parliament or the vice president or the president. We need them to join hands with us so that we work together, and then we'll be able to see a change that we've been looking for in Kaputa constituency.
Keep watching Parliament Television, a station that brings Parliament closer to you.
This is greatness on high rotation. This is the DSTV Nation.
Take it away.
We start with the moment, and we own it. We devote it. We black and we proud. BET, and it's loud. The music, the magic, just fanatic. It's Illmatic. Then we amaze and we blaze with the craziest craze and the craziest kids that cook and create in the craziest vids, learning stuff that we wish that we did. Then beware, we're in for a scare. It's a ghostly affair. You laugh and you scream, split at the seams. This is greatness made for your screen. Now, hold up, stop the track. Launch an attack with the quack. We gonna fight and ignite, show some might and a light. This is the best thing on TV tonight. Now, we're all flying with wings, cause we got the same heat that DSTV brings.
Let me take the opportunity to confer with immunity in accordance with Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia as you continue to answer questions. So, honorable colleagues, we were on 2 unsupported payment. I think we've looked at some of those documentations which have got gaps. I think if you look at most of these issues, there are staff-related lack of title deeds. I'll just allow one question on title deeds, if there's someone willing to take it. Then the issue of staff-related matters, failure to avail personal movements expenditure records, irregular payment to an officer on unpaid leave, irregular payment of salary to an officer who retired. Can we have a Director HR to comment on those 3 issues? Then, honorable colleagues, if someone is willing to ask a question on the title deeds, we can proceed. Then we can move to paragraph 23. Honorable Daka.
Thank you. Controlling officer, why did the process of obtaining title deeds only commenced after your office was queried by the Auditor General? Chairperson, I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Mula.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to clarify if this property, the government printing, is the same one that we know as the, we call it was, government printers. Because then I'm just worried that that building, or that place has been in existence for as long as we have known. And to learn that there is even no title deed, it's a problem. And we'd like to know why. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. PS, you can proceed. And like I've guided, Director HR should comment on those issues. Why you didn't provide expenditure records for personal emoluments, and why did you pay a salary to someone who was on unpaid leave, and also a person who retired to that effect? You can proceed.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. On the issue of title deeds, these are buildings, like I had said earlier, or assets that are coming from ministries that have been dissolved and were aligned to the Ministry of Transport. So they've been in existence, like the Honorable Member of the committee has observed. If you look at government printers, it's been there all along. And the expectation was that when the Committee of Survey was doing the report and they were submitting to us, that would have been taken care of. However, when it came to our attention through the audit, we notably, Honorable Chairperson, it was an omission. We took it upon ourselves as Ministry of Transport, as the ministry that inherited these departments, to start running with the Ministry of Lands and ensure that we obtain a title for those buildings that have been cited. I'll ask that the Director HR responds to the others.
Director HR can proceed.
Through the PS, thank you, Chair. For the
personal emoluments payment expenditure, it was identified when after the audit that some of the payments were done without documentation. But afterwards, what transpired was that the officer responsible for those activities did not do the reconciliation after the activity was concluded. So that's why we find that the management has commented that the records were then availed when the officer was pressed to produce the same documentation. So what was lacking was the reconciliation of records after the whole exercise was completed, Chair.
Director HR, who supervises that officer you're talking about? Who's the supervisor?
That officer, Chair, is in the Department of Finance, Chair.
Director of Finance.
Thank you so much, Chair. Through my PS. The details, the expenditure details we are referring to here is those are the attachments that are done to the payment vouchers, like for the leave certificates, because these were payments of personal related expenditure. So at the time of payment, the leave certificates and other documents were on the files. But then after the payments were ready, what was supposed to have been done was to photocopy all the supporting documents and attach to each voucher. So when the auditors were on the ground, what they were availed with were just the payment vouchers minus the other leave certificates and so forth. So what happened was we had to get to the original files to ensure that all these things are photocopied and attached to the payment vouchers. Chair, I submit.
PS laissez-faire attitude is what is in your ministry. People don't want to do that job. And it's very unfortunate because it's just laziness. If you have everything, auditors, when they come, they'll give you a list of information they want. If they are not clear, they'll tell you, okay, we've given us this, we want these other documents. But if you say you have who they were there, who's supposed to supervise who, it's very unfortunate. Director HR, we've got two more answers to provide for unpaid leave and resignation. Why did you proceed and pay those people?
Chair, through the PS, the department acknowledges that there was a bit of lapse in terms of supervising the person who does the inputs on the payroll. As we have acknowledged, Chair, we did censure that officer, and we have ensured that in future this doesn't happen. What we've put in place is that every time there are inputs to be processed, we ensure that that particular month, those inputs that are ready are done for that matter. And any inputs that have got a financial implication that might be a loss to government, we ensure that they are the urgent one and they are top of the list. I submit, Chair.
So, Director, in your submission, you are telling us from 1st January 2022 to July, you didn't do any inputs for the ministry?
We did do inputs.
Yeah, so now I don't know what you are telling us because we don't understand. If you are saying you did inputs, how did you miss this most important issue? Someone resigned. You've got your end users, whoever they are called, those inputs are done. If it's not, I don't know how many times you do it, if it's quarterly, if it's what, PS will approve, HR, you've got an input, finance has got an input, and you are coming to this committee telling us there was a lapse. How long is it going to take you to collect to recover this 34,000? If you are recovering 900 kwacha, is it 900 kwacha or 900 or 9,000? How long will it take you to 900 kwacha? How long will it take you to recover? This money could have gone somewhere else. This 34,000 plus 28,000, government can channel it to something useful. You can switch off your mic. Something useful. So, PS, we don't want those lame excuses here. People to be telling us lapse, oversight. We've read a lot of those oversights and lapses. This is now time to correct things, PS. And these your officers, you should ensure that they do right things in accordance with stipulated guidelines. It's not, it doesn't sit well half a year, Auditor General, from January to July. Is it 7 months? The person has resigned, they're just getting paid. Do you have HR? We have directors, fully fledged deputy director HR, assistant director HR, chief human resource management officer, whatever resource management officers, assistant, and what, fully fledged. They're all lot of human resource, and we are failing to pick this small issue. So it's a very bad sign, PS. Very bad sign. I can assure you. If we are failing to pick up this small issue, then how do we manage other issues? It becomes difficult. So I think for that is not admissible, and we are not going to tolerate that as a committee. That submission is not even befitting to come before this honorable committee. So honorable colleagues, have a position, we can proceed, because we won't get any different answer from that. We proceed to 23. 23, you can proceed if there's any question on A. Failure to record motor vehicles details and update fleet management registers. Honorable colleagues, you can proceed. Honorable Mwira can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I must say that the fleet management, looking first of all at the roles of the Government Transport Control Unit, the roles that have been highlighted on page 5, and the findings, for me, I just make a conclusion that the fleet management system in the government leaves much to be desired. It's actually a broken down system. And my question is, in this day and age, why should the fleet management system not be automated? Why should it be manual? And so, with this response that we have on finding A, is the system now automated, or what is being done to automate the system? Because it's unacceptable to keep it manual, it's unacceptable to allow it to continue in the manner that it is for the government. If even small companies have got their own asset management systems that have computerized and they're able to tell where the vehicle is and in what condition. So how far is the automation gone for the government fleet management? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Omai.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairperson. In addition to Honorable Mwila's submission, Chair, I thought the controlling officer can go deeper in helping this committee understand, especially that we had 753 series of GRZ numbers which were missing, and we haven't been told whether these have been found. And also, we want to understand as to how a manual system can lead to have these vehicles go missing. So the answer needs to be given to this committee in more detailed than it is, because the way it is now, Chair, I can simply say that the response has not yet been given. Then I would request the controlling officer to explain to this committee where are the 753, because this is 2016 to 2021 report. I submit, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you. Honorable Daka.
Chair, thank you, Chair. I think my question has been overtaken by events. But, Chair, I think for us to do justice to this query, because they're saying the audit period is from 1st January 2016 to 1st December 2021. Chair, in my view, I would request that, is it possible that the one who was in charge of fleet management during that period under question or under review be made available before this committee? I submit, Chairperson.
Thank you. The control of government transport, where are you? How long have you been in that position or acting? Chair.
Thank you, Chair. 1 year, 3 months. I'm acting, actually.
1 year, 3 months. Where were you before?
I've been with the ministry.
Which ministry?
Ministry of then Works and Supply. Then we are
in the same department.
In the same department.
Yeah, so then it's fine. Yeah, you understand. Do you have a question?
Yes, Chair. Actually, I wanted to find out where is the former control of transport? And Chair, through you, Chair, and many others who are like him in this department. And for him to act, he must have been very close to the control units. So he will be able to give us the answers that we need. And however, Chair, I realize the ministry initiated this special audit on motor vehicles. It's recommendable for the PS or controlling officer to have moved in that direction. But now we want answers from those who are sitting there, like him.
Thank you, Honorable Mkumbi.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just wondering also, in the PS response, they are saying that they've been using manual systems all along. And they knew too well that this manual system is prone to errors. That's saying the response there. I just want to understand why you would continue using a system where you know this system has a lot of errors. Why didn't you in the previous past try and upgrade so that we safeguard some of these vehicles from getting... How can 753 vehicles not be traced? And you know too well, or you knew too well, that this system you are using has errors. Chair, I submit.
Thank you. PS, you can proceed with those questions. As the controller of government transport, acting position gets ready to answer.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. By nature of the audit itself being forensic and covering a period 2016 to 2021, I'll be challenged to answer some of the questions in terms of why certain practices were not being followed. I think, as the committee has already indicated, the people that were there at the time, it would be good that they be summoned and they come and give responses to that effect so that we have clarity on the matter. However, I wish to assure you, Chair, that because of the uncertainties that surrounded the management of the government fleet, and at the time that the CGTU was being brought to the ministry, that was the very reason why a decision was made that we have a forensic audit to basically give us the picture of what we are picking as Ministry of Transport and Logistics. The audit itself has been very helpful in terms of, pointing us to the areas where we need to intervene. The issue of automation, once we went through the audit, it became very clear that we cannot continue with the processes that were being done within CGT at the time. And even if initially there was a bit of resistance because people felt that we are taking their responsibilities away and giving them to RATSA, a decision was made that let all government vehicles going forward be registered under the eZAMTIS, which is held at the Road Transport and Safety Agency, so that we can actually have proper accountability of these assets. Speaking also on the eZAMTIS and what we are doing, Chair, I think RATSA can come in and speak at a later stage. In terms of automation, we have spoken with them, and we see that there is every reason why the current system that they are using should actually be upgraded to a higher level because of certain gaps that are inherent as well within eZAMTIS. But in doing that, we think that it's an opportunity for us to kill two birds, automate eZAMTIS as RATSA is doing their motor vehicle registration and licensing, but at the same time use that process to develop an automated system for the CGT using the same developer and sitting on the same infrastructure so that we do not reinvent the wheel. I wish to submit, Chair, and ask the CGT acting to respond to the rest of the questions.
Thank you, PS. The acting CGT, you can proceed. Those questions which have been raised. And then I have a question for Ratsa. Just maybe a clarification, because the way I understand is when the government is purchasing motor vehicles, are they not first registered at Ratsa? They have a normal number plate before the GRZ1. I just want to understand that clarification. So, control of government transport, you can proceed. Then Ratsa, just make a clarification on that afterwards.
Thank you, Chair. Through PS Transport, just to ride on what Permanent Secretary has mentioned, I think for us as a unit, I think this audit, we appreciate it so much. It came at a time that I've been given this bigger role to manage government transport. We've made, as a team, as a ministry, after this audit, put internal controls on how we can manage government transport very well. And indeed, like talking on the series, the chairperson may wish to know that some of the missing number could be as a result of security reasons. Some numbers are allocated to other security wings.
Honorable Mfarari, you can switch off your mic. Switch off your mic? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, what the controller is telling us is neither here nor there. The people that were auditing your unit are human beings who interact. It's very simple for you as a unit to tell them, say, number so, or these numbers or series from this one to this one are sitting at such and such a place. And they have no boundary, these. They can go anywhere and find out whether what you are telling them is true. So for you to start telling us that because of security, whatever, it's neither here nor there. What position were you holding before you became what you are today?
Thank you, Chair.
Hold on. Speak through the chair, Honorable Daka.
Just to add on what the senior members just alluded to. Chair, we deal with defense chiefs here. Zambia Army, ZAF, they come to appear before this committee. So I don't understand, Chair, what the control of government vehicles is telling the committee. It's trying to school the committee over what we know very well. Can you just state what you know about the dispute? That's what we want to know. Where are the 753 vehicles? That's what the committee want to know. Just elaborate. There's nothing to hide here.
Thank you, Honorable Daka, and Honorable the Senior Honorable Mfarari. Control of government transport. I think I don't need to emphasize what the honorable colleagues have said. Here we question anybody. We can call anybody to come and appear if we want. We've got those powers. So those things you are telling us, like Honorable Mfarari said, it's easy. You tell Auditor General, they're vetted. They go and audit where other places. So you just tell them this series is sitting here, this is sitting here, this is sitting here. They'll go and do their own verification. They've got access. Then they'll come and say, okay, this is sitting here, so there's evidence we've seen this, that. So please give us befitting answers, not those issues of what you are telling this committee. You can proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. Through the PS, let me elaborate further on the same. The way we've been allocating GRZ numbers, the same manual system we talked about, the GRZ number will have the letters G, R, Z, and the number, say we start from 100 to 999 for a certain series. So what will happen is that it will have the other letters that will define probably the year when you've registered that particular motor vehicle. So you have a situation where you have a number like, I would give an example like GRZ.
Yes, Honorable Wamima.
Chair, just to register my presence, I was in another meeting. I'm Honorable Imanga Wamnyima, Member of Parliament for Nalolo. Chair, I'm here seated laboring to understand how the Controller of Transport is trying to explain about serial. The issue, do you know about the missing vehicles? I think if you don't know, you just say, because you are explaining things that are not relevant to the committee. So we may wish to just know where these vehicles are, 753, how you grade them, GRZ plus. No, the query is they are not there. So where are they? Do you know about them?
Thank you. Controller, you guided again. We understand. We've read. There's a submission. So address the question, then we make some progress. Thank you. You can proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. Through PS, well guided, Chair. I think like the submission was made, I think a verification can be done to check where these vehicles.
Controller of Transport, acting controller of transport. I think you are cognizant with your unit. You must be well versed in terms of understanding your work as a controller of government transport, or as a unit. It could be that you grew up from there and you are now what you are, knowing all the. How often did you update your registers? How often do you update your registers at the unit? I submit, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, let the control of government transport be serious. Could you just be serious with what we are talking about here? We are interested in the 753 vehicle, and it's a serious matter. We are not here to joke.
Thank you. Controller, I'm guiding you again. There's a question. If you don't know where the whereabouts of the 753, you tell us I don't know. If you know, tell us you know. And take that as a serious guidance. And also, honorable members ask, when do you often update your records? We understand you do manual, but even in manual there should be a tolerable error to say yes, you can miss 3-4 vehicles. But if you are talking about 753 vehicles, then there's PSN, there's disaster at that unit. It's disaster. You can proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. Through PS, let me submit that I was not around that time. I think I would appreciate the submission from Honorable Mfarari that the controller at the time could be subpoenaed to come and respond to this particular query. For the updating of the record, let me submit that from the time I took over, we've stopped registering manual. We are registering the vehicles, GRZ vehicles, with e-Zamtis with our colleagues from RATSA. That is the measure that we have put in place. I submit, Chair.
Before Honorable Mkumbi and Honorable Wamima comes in, I asked you a question. Where were you before? You answered that you were at the same department. Then I asked you, how long have you been in your acting position? You told me 1 year, 3 months. So I don't know now how you are running away to say the one who was there. That's why we asked you. We didn't want it to be unfair to you. We asked you, how long have you been there? Then now you are coming back to say, no, the one who was there, me, I don't understand. Honorable Mukumbi. Honorable Amnima can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, government has been in existence for a very long time. People come and go. The controller has been in office for 1 year, 3 months. Definitely took over from somebody. And so that somebody definitely could have given you handover notes to know the status of or the state of vehicles that are within government circles. Did you receive handover notes from the person that you took over from? Because that could have guided you to know where these vehicles are there or not. The question is very simple here. Do you know the whereabouts of the 753 vehicles? If you don't know, simply say, I don't know. We'll move on. Chair, submit.
Thank you. Honorable Amnima.
Chair, the audit in question is from 2016 to 2021. The officer is requesting us to subpoena his predecessor. Well, it's possible, but now that you are here and you are saying you were there, when you were there and the 753 vehicles was disappearing, what was happening? Because you were there while your predecessor was there. So when the 753 vehicles was disappearing, where was it? Where were the vehicles going? And the chair remind him that he has immunity to disclose. Because to try and take this committee to London, back to Osaka, Zambia, GRZ, you are wasting a committee's time. Where are these vehicles?
Thank you, Honorable Daka.
Chair, just to add, he admitted earlier that some of the vehicles were allocated to security wings that he cannot review. Now he comes again to say he doesn't know where the vehicles went. Chair, is in order, is the controller of government transport in order to start misleading this committee? And does he know the consequences of misleading this committee? Chair, I submit.
Thank you. I don't know how many times I'm going to guide him. The controller of government transport. Are those questions from honorable members? Please address them, answer them. You can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Through the PS. Yes, let me submit. I've been within the ministry, but I was in the provinces. I started with Western Province, then I was later transferred to Central Province. Then eventually that's when I was brought to Lusaka. To answer Honorable Daka, this series, probably I do not understand them very well. That's why I suggested that we subpoena the controllers there at the time. But the number that I'd said that some of the numbers were given, even when we get to the office, we'll be able to see in the register that there are just some GRZ numbers, but the vehicles were not brought to be inspected so that they can populate the other details. That's what I'd meant by security reason, and this is from OP. And if we can avail this to the auditors, they will see the gaps for those numbers.
AG, Honorable Kamlis.
Thank you so much, Chair. Yes, so we audited, so we know where the gaps are, and I think the interest of the committee is where are the vehicles physically. We know, for instance, that some vehicles were bought through Ministry of Local Government, through Ministry of Education. We know, we saw this information. But the question is, where are the vehicles, physically, where are they? Because this is what needs to be answered. And who are the people responsible? Like I said, Chair, the corporate governance structure in the ministry starts with the minister. If you look at what they are supposed to do here, you see, it starts from there. That is the structure, coming the PS and the people below them. So all these people should have known what was happening. So they should tell us where the vehicles are. The next one, we've got about 1,002 vehicles which are missing and accounted for. Although we are saying that some have been found. So the question is, where are the other vehicles? How were these vehicles being brought into the country?
Thank you. Honorable Muller.
Chair, I'm very worried, Chair, with the responses. And this question, I think it has now been asked 10 times on this table without an answer. And the question is very straightforward. I think for me is to ask, do we have a competent person now? And in any case, someone must act for 6 months, I think. After 6 months, a decision is made. We are now talking about 1 year, 3 months. There's no substantive person. That is why this whole system is in shambles, because we don't have people with the competence to manage the fleet and government transport. I don't think we'll get an answer. An action must be taken now, because going forward, I've asked a question about automation. I've not even gotten a very convincing answer where we are going now, because already we know we are sitting on a mess. And the person that is currently responsible to clean up this has clearly exposed that they have no knowledge. If they don't want to take advantage of the immunity they have to disclose and give us the evidence, then conclusion is that they just don't have the competencies to sit in this office. And why they are still in this office now, it's my wonder. What the Auditor General's report has disclosed here is simply telling us that things are falling apart in terms of government transport. And we are not getting the answer. Automation is very important. The PS, I know, submitted that, they are now working with RATSA to go through this automation. But my question again is, RATSA is a different institution. We have a controller of government transport sitting under the ministry, who is responsible for ensuring that there is proper management of government fleet. So if we transfer this responsibility to RATSA, what are we doing then with this position that is supposed to carry out its work? If it has failed, then there must be changes in terms of human resource to ensure the competent person sits in there. The current status, Chair, is very worrying.
Thank you, Honorable Muller. Maybe perhaps to give, you are indicating to speak? Yeah. Okay, before you speak, Honorable.
Chair, before you speak, Controller, through the PS, where is the one your predecessor? Where is he sitting? Which ministry is he going to? And are there departments at your unit who is in charge of registration, who is in charge of inspection, who is in charge of what? So do you have those departments? What department were you? Were you there before the predecessor left, or you just came in and the predecessor had gone? May we know, Chair?
Thank you. Through your PS Controller, you can answer and also address Honorable Mkumbi's question. Did you have the handover notes? What was handed over to you? Were the 753 part of the handovers to say, yes, these vehicles, we don't know where they are, or these series are sitting at OP, these series are sitting at whatever, these series are sitting at there? You can proceed and answer Honorable Mfarari's question.
Thank you, Chair, through the PS. The question that Honorable Muller has asked, okay, let me start with Honorable Mfarari, who said what section we have registration. We have a section that registers. We also have a section that handles accident. The handovers were not given to me. The chairperson may wish to know that when the substantive control of government transport, Mr. Enes Kunda, was suspended, there was a Mr. Levi Wangwamba who acted for 3 months. Then later, that's when I was appointed. So there were no handovers done to me. But I thank the team in the ministry that have helped us to put the documentation together. The chairperson may wish to note that the volume of the audit queries were not as small as it is, but after taking over, we've managed to recover a number of vehicles, which has shown...
Mr. Controller, talk about what we are talking about.
Yes.
If you make your own submission, then you are telling that PS should do take away submission and then you come back with a new submission. We are talking about what is currently happening. There are questions. So you've answered Honorable Mukumbi's question. There was no handovers. Well and good, there was no handovers. Answer Honorable Farari's question. Honorable Muila's, it was more or less a comment on what is you are submitting, that office, there is lack of competence. So that one is not a question. So you can answer Honorable Farari's question in conclusion, then PS will come in.
The question from Honorable Farari is that where is the substantive controller? He was transferred to PSMD for further redeployment and currently reports there. Then, Chair, allow me to state on the series. When we talk of series, we're not talking of vehicles. Series is a range of numbers within that particular accident and not vehicles. I submit, Chair.
What does a series translate into? You have a series. Those series are allocated to motor vehicles, isn't it?
Yes, Chair. What I was trying to submit in my area submitted, I was saying that the way the numbers are crafted, they are crafted in such a way that when you assign a JRZ number plate, it does not conflict with other numbers. Like you can say JRZ 120 ZP. No, you don't do that. You skip that series, you move to another one. Then when you skip one series, it means you have omitted almost 800 plus numbers. When you just skip one series to go to another series, you start assigning JRZ number. That is what I understand about this particular question. I submit.
Thank you. We can move. Yeah, let's move. Let's go to the next item. Okay, PS, you can make your submission quickly.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. There was a question of what we are doing with the CGTU in terms of the structure and the competencies. That is one recommendation that actually came from the Auditor General's office, that we need to restructure the unit and have competent people at different levels. Now, the committee may wish to note that up until now, the unit, it's actually not even a department, but has been operating as a unit. We've already had a structure review with the help of PSMD, and the CGTU is one of those units that have been recommended to be structured, and the proposal is that we raise it from a unit to a director so that we can actually employ a person that is competent to occupy at the level of director and will be able to do the proper analysis as far as this is concerned. So we are doing that. The Treasury has given us a Treasury authority for 18 positions within the CGTU, and I've already spoken to the Secretary to Cabinet that the CGTU unit, we fast track it in terms of restructuring. We should not hold it together with the restructuring of the rest of the unit because of what is happening there. So that is the status as far as what we are doing. I've already spoken to the CGTU themselves, the staff there, that government has made a position that all positions actually within the CGTU will be advertised. They'll be free to apply for those positions, but recruitment going forward will be based on merit. So that is something that is coming, and I think the head CGTU can confirm that. There was a question of why we are moving functions to RATSA, which is a different institution in terms of computerization. Chair, we are taking advantage of the fact that both CGTU and RATSA are institutions that are sitting under the same ministry. And in terms of infrastructure, ICT infrastructure that is required to make these services available, would be reinventing the wheel if we said we have a separate one for CGTU and we have a separate one for RATSA. These systems can actually be co-hosted on the same infrastructure. What we need to ensure, though, is that when the development is being done, we are clear in terms of which modules would only be used by CGTU and which modules would be used by RATSA. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Progress. Honorable Mfarari.
Chair, earlier on I heard from the controlling officers saying because of lack of space, one department sits somewhere else and the other, maybe the one who approves, is sitting at what they are calling as headquarters or Canada House. Now, what you are giving us, or what you are telling us, controlling officers, is one segment of your ministry is what you are saying you are allocating to RATSA to use the system that RATSA has. What about other departments? Do you have direct ICT? Because if you had a system in place, the future seems to be e-government. So if you have a system, do you have a system in place that will answer to some of these queries that we're having here? You don't have to move files to go and approve. In this modern times, you literally have just to pass it to the next person to approve, and within the systems you would have approved and verified. Do you have an ICT director in your ministry? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Daka. Progress. Yeah, and then Honorable Amnima.
Thank you, Chair. Progress. I will go to unaccounted for motor vehicle bought using MPSA's TPINs. Chair, we have seen where...
Yes, I'll guide him. So I do have 3 questions.
Chair, we have seen how 1,002 vehicles were unaccounted for, basically vehicles that were registered under ministries just disappearing. Control of government vehicles was saying that these are not vehicles. Now we have come to, instead of 753, now it's 1,002 vehicles just disappearing. Now, Chair, the committee is at pen, and we are laboring now to get to understand what the controller was trying to say. Now, expressly, it's been stated that 1,002 vehicles just went disappeared after being registered using government TPINs. Through controlling officer, of course, to the people that were responsible, the committee want to know where these vehicles are. In a nutshell, that's what the committee want to know. Where are the 1,002 vehicles? And who are the culprits or individuals who are behind this malpractice? I submit, Chairperson.
Thank you. Honorable Amnima.
Chair, out of these 1,002 vehicles, 329 Ministry of General Education. Now, what I want to know, Chair, is that how was the ministry doing reconciliations of these MPS? Was there reconciliation against these vehicles that were being bought? Their TPINs, was there some form of reconciliation that was being done? Because it seems vehicles were coming and the people just record by pen, or I don't know, it was manual. How do we have 1,000 vehicles missing? Was your ministry undertaking physical reconciliations and recording? Because if we say 329 vehicles are at Ministry of Education, constituting 95 million, and when we go there, they are not there. No record, no trace. I want to know, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, let me allow PS to react to that. 3, then Honorable Lungu, then Honorable Muila, you come in. And Honorable colleagues, take into account that by July 2023, these vehicles were not, they didn't know the whereabouts of the physical presence of where they are until RATSA gave the position, which has not been verified. It's just in the system it's showing those ministries, but on the ground I think there's no verification yet. So this is just what RATSA has given, but we don't know if they're actually sitting, 132 is sitting as education has not been verified. PS, you can proceed with those Honorable Mufarari's question about ICT Director, then Honorable Daka, and then Honorable Wamnima can proceed.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. We do not have a Director ICT. The Smart Zambia have a way of categorizing the different ministries. And the category in which we fall, they assigned head ICT was at the level of the principal officer. And the head ICT sits under the Director Planning. And Director Planning is here, can confirm that position. With regard to the usage of the tippings, Honorable Chairperson, not taking away from the observations of the committee, as a matter of fact, as a ministry, and particularly my office, I concur that where there is no clarity, then it's possible actually people could have taken advantage of the system and vehicles would have disappeared. And that's what we need to establish, so that once we are said and done with this exercise, those vehicles that would have been deemed to have disappeared and we are able to hold people accountable, they should be taken to task and the process should actually be reported to the Zambia police. But if I can speak to what we have established from the inquiries that we have done, given the information that came from the Auditor General's office, initially when the auditors were on the ground trying to verify the whereabouts of these vehicles, if you look at the first query, which is looking at the information that was obtained from ZRA, and these vehicles could not be seen on the RATSA database, it has actually turned out, if you recall, I said that the RATSA system itself also has some gaps which would need to be addressed. And one of the gaps which head ICT from RATSA is here can actually confirm is on the validation rules, particularly that of the chassis. Now, because of the different brands of vehicles that you have Toyota, Nissan, and each one of them has a formatting for their chassis numbers. The validation rule for the field of chassis numbers it's actually not very strong. So you find that the same chassis, if it's entered with a dash, becomes different from the same numbers if they are entered without a dash. And depending on what you have and what you're looking for, the vehicle would actually be registered within RATSA, but you will not get the record because you are using the wrong format in terms of the search. So from the engagements that we've had, from the 1002, we have actually discovered that about 500 or so of those vehicles that are showing as not registered under RATSA, they are actually within the system. What we need to go further, Chair, with the engagement of the Auditor General, is to verify the ownership of those vehicles that have actually been discovered to be under RATSA, so that we can ascertain that either they are registered under GRZ. If they are not registered under GRZ, then those people that are holding those vehicles should be made to account why they used the government process to get those vehicles and have them registered as private. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Mfarari, is it a follow-up?
Yeah, it's a follow-up.
PS, you can switch off the mic.
Thank you.
It's a follow-up, Chairman. Chairperson, these 1,005 vehicles, we have adequate systems that should be able to indicate where the vehicles are sitting. We have more than enough. But maybe to some extent, Chair, that's why we find you go to Interpol, they want to clear 2 vehicles on the system that they are supposed to use, and they want to go manual. The records for this, the standard procedures for recording, for registering motor vehicles, leaves a lot of trail for anyone to follow. You go to the port where the vehicles enter from, you come to Interpol, then you come to for government, these T-pins. Maybe it was just a cartel, otherwise there's nowhere to hide. The Ministry of Finance, they are here. On the verification, for you to use a T-pin or to get goods so that you don't pay taxes, there's a unit at Ministry of Finance, and unless it has stopped, there's a unit that clears goods that are coming in duty-free or that are supposed not to pay. Is that unit able to tell us something from here, Accountant General? Because these vehicles that were using T-pins, they have to go through Ministry of Finance for them to come to RATSAT to ZRA for approval. So, unless there was a serious cartel, and it is a serious cartel anyway, because there are several organs that are involved that could have helped resolve this matter. Too many. So for us to say maybe there is weak link here and there, I don't accept. We have Interpol, we have Ministry of Finance, we have ZRA, then we have RATSA, we have all these units. The trail should be there, and anyone who was registering or putting their details to either clear or to have the vehicles cleared at Ministry of Finance, all those should be able to be found. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Lungu, then Honorable Mwila, then Honorable Lumai. PS, just before maybe Honorable proceeds, I think one thing to take note of, Honorable colleagues, is these vehicles, what PS you cited that are sitting in those ministries, they are not physically there at the moment. And some of them are in individual names to that effect. I've seen there's also even Salvation Army, especially with the NP series, which is these other motor vehicles. I think it should be Nissan NP series. There's also Sai Beverages and other names I wouldn't want to mention, which are also here. Maybe we can eventually, maybe through Ministry of Finance, want to know the procedure, if maybe they were offered when they were exiting the system or what. Then I think due processes can be followed. But there are other names and organizations on our database. There is Sogacare, there is Woodlock Limited, and all that. I don't understand. But anyway, Honorable Lumbu, we can proceed. Then PS will make a comment together when the Honorable colleagues ask questions.
Thank you, Chair. Like the colleagues have already stated, PS, I wanted to know that the TPIN has been over-abused by certain institutions to bring in vehicles to evade tax. What measures are you taking in place, or are you putting in place, such that this vice can come to an end? Thank you.
Honorable Mwila.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, among the functions of the Transport Control Unit is to coordinate the acquisition. My understanding is that from whatever institution or ministry or province that is buying a vehicle, the controller of government transport must coordinate, meaning it's the center. So, I wanted now to find out how, arriving at these 102 vehicles where the whereabouts are not known, where was the problem, or what is the problem with this function of coordination for us to arrive at a number of 102 vehicles bought using government TPINs and thereabouts not known? Where is the problem with the coordination, which is a function of the controller of government transport? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Lumai.
Mr. Chairman,
Indeed, the report on management of vehicles is not good. It's a very bad report. And Mr. Chairman, I think you'd agree with me that right now, the Minister of Transport is at sea. It doesn't have answers. And since, Mr. Chairman, the table before us here, we have 132 vehicles under Ministry of Finance and National Planning. We have 191 under Ministry of Home Affairs. We have 26 under Ministry of Water. The list goes on. I would therefore, Mr. Chairman, maybe propose that each ministry which has been cited in this report is made to account for these vehicles through the Ministry of Transport and Communication and RATSA, so that we can conclude this matter, because the answers which are coming from the ministry right now cannot resolve this query. The Director of Transport Controller, he's saying he's in the office, he has just been there for a year, and he says there were no handover notes. And the PS also says, no, since this report is 2016-2021, maybe those who were there can be requested to come and respond. So I'm making a proposal before the committee, Mr. Chairman, that maybe for now we adjourn and allow these separate ministries to come and respond to their own vehicles, because Ministry of Education can say we have got these vehicles. Ministry of Finance, they are here. They can go and put the house in order, because as we sit now, the Ministry of Transport and Communication, Mr. Chairman, is at sea. It will not provide answers. That's my submission, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, AG.
Thank you very much, Chair. I also want to bring to the attention of the committee some of the correspondence that came from the ministries as we were auditing. Specifically, for instance, if you look at in my report on page 118. 118? Yes. There was a query which was given to the ministry. This is the Ministry of Transport and Logistics, where we inquired. And specifically, the director there did allude to the fact that these vehicles were not actually bought by the Ministry of Transport. It is clearly stated in writing. We do have that response. It was the same with the Ministry of Energy. So there was confirmation that these vehicles were actually not bought by the respective ministries. So who did using the TPINs for the ministries?
Thank you so much, AG. PS will break for 5 minutes. We've lifted immunity. You can give us 5 minutes and we'll call you back.
Parliament TV, bringing Parliament closer to you.
My eParliament mobile application. First, download the app on either Play Store or App Store and install. After installation, open the app. Step 1. Register your personal information, that's your names, gender, NRC, and date of birth. Step 2. Add your contact information, your email, phone number, and home address. Step 3. Select your constituency. Step 4. Create your 4-digit PIN. At this point, The system will send an SMS to your mobile number with a one-time passcode. Step 5. Confirm with one-time passcode that was sent to your mobile. Step 6. Sign in using your phone number and the 4-digit PIN. And Step 7. Create your submission and submit. My e-Parliament, bringing Parliament closer to you.
Mfwaile naliumweni utali pakuntula aposele mweo wakwe paline namu